think so.
Man,
I'm trying to be good. Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here with us in Colorado.
I'm glad to be here. Not the typical temperature I would like, but
What is it? A little bit cooler than normal?
it's on the other side. It's hotter than. I mean, we have hot weather in Sri Lanka.
Well, like what's the temperature at home right now?
High 90s.
High 90s. Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds awful. I would be sweating so much.
This is good, but not what I'm used to.
Well, I'm so glad we have Mich with us. He's my dear friend and is leading Joshua Nation's efforts in Sri Lanka. So, remind me, I don't remember how we met you. I mean, of course I remember, but for the sake of those who are joining us, how did we get connected?
Well, it was in 2006, I believe, at a church that was connected to the missions, the church back in Sri Lanka. We had come, and Anna was, I think, the missions pastor there. Well, I could not remember for almost 20 years, I guess. In 2022, 18 years, something, our senior pastor's wife passes away, and I see that she condoles, and then I realized, okay, I see what you guys are doing. I see what is happening in Africa. And I just sent a message and said, hey Anna, what is this? And then she connects with the international team. Then we have a conversation, and wow, this is something we would like to have in Sri Lanka, raising the next generation of leaders.
I don't know if our viewers or listeners know where Sri Lanka is. Sometimes I say something, I'm like, I'm going to Sri Lanka, I'm going to go visit my friend. I have visitors coming from Sri Lanka to be with us.
Yeah.
They're like, what part of Africa is that? So if you see him, he doesn't look African. Tell us where it is.
Well, this brown guy comes from the other side of the world. We are a small island of 22 million people off the coast of south of India. And predominantly we are Buddhists, and it's only about less than 400,000 Christians.
Yeah, wow. So 400,000 Christians, 22 million people.
Yep.
I'm not real good at math, but I think the percentage...
That's about 1 to 2%, less than 2%.
Less than 2%?
Yes.
It's less than 1%?
No, more than 1%. 22 million would be more than, yeah.
So tell me what... if you're looking at a map and Sri Lanka almost looks like a teardrop.
Yes.
It's like India cried
Yes.
and it just fell off.
Yeah.
I think because it was so hot, India was crying. This little piece fell off the side. But so that means that this is probably one of the most unreached places in the world.
Yes. There is at least, according to Joshua Project, over 50 unreached people groups. We have about over 160 people groups in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And what we can say is that Sri Lanka has been going through quite a bit. It was colonized by the Dutch, Portuguese, and the longest time by the British.
Okay.
And when the British left, it was about 10% Christians. But the decline...
What year was that?
That was 75 years ago,
Okay.
1948.
So 75 years ago, and then Christianity has declined from 10 down to...
Yes, less than 2%.
Okay.
Less than 2%.
Why? What happened?
Well, one of the reasons for, I think, the decline was there was an allegiance to the British if you wanted to actually get perks and benefits.
Okay.
So there were conversions that took place, not actual conversions. So that was one reason. And then, of course, intermarriage throughout the course of, the last 75 years. And then they changed religion, or atheism is becoming big, and it's kind of a deal.
Interesting. So God's put in your heart to do something about that, I'm guessing. That's why we know each other while we're working together. What is it exactly that God's put in your heart to do to help remedy this situation?
Well, one of the things that we really feel like is that we need people reaching unreached people groups. And most of the time what is happening is sometimes churches, I mean, there is conversions, but then also there is so much people moving from one church to another. But we want to see this change, especially when you consider, Gen Zs and Gen Alphas. We are preparing for the future in reaching these age groups as well.
So what? Okay, so I call this migration of sheep going from one church to another.
Yes.
Sometimes we call it sheep stealing. But the sheep are just moving from one green pasture to another greener pasture.
Yes.
But what you said is now really critical, is targeting the younger generation. What are you doing to do that?
Yeah, and I just want to highlight that the reason for it is we see statistically that children being reached, and especially ages like 7 to 13, when the child gets saved, their faith actually lasts for generations.
Wow.
And as we see that as a global statistics, we also see that is where we really need to invest if we want to see a steady vision of reaching Sri Lanka.
That's interesting, because research shows that a child's moral compass is basically defined by that time.
Yes.
And so it also is interesting to see that their religious compass is defined in the same timeline, I guess.
Yes.
So you're reaching out to these younger kids.
Yes. And that is one of the goals of, we are really asking the churches, and for almost over 20 years, myself and Kayla was leading History Maker Generation, organization that was dedicated in helping churches build strong youth ministries.
Wow.
Because that is where our investment should be, as we see and as we have felt. So that was the start of it. And now we are helping actually Joshua Nation's BTC training centers to be set up in churches so that they can actually build solid, theologically sound leaders that will impact their age groups.
Now, when I was in Sri Lanka last, we graduated hundreds.
Over 220, yes.
And we had people from all different ages. And there was one that was very old, I think in their 80s.
81?
We had a student who had some learning disabilities or some challenges.
Yes. He was, I think he was blind,
Okay.
and then special needs.
We had a special needs student.
Yes. Those are the first.
And then we had a really young student as
11
well.
years old.
11.
Yes.
For anyone who thinks they can't grow in God and mature in their faith and understanding, or just dig into the Word, when we have 11-year-olds going through a 2-year program and graduating with the same standards as parents and adults, then we see, God He's not looking at the age. He's not looking at gender. He's looking at, who you are as a person. I'm so excited about that.
And that is the beauty, Jason, of Joshua Nations, that it is not for the only ones who want to have a theological knowledge because they have educational background or they have literacy. Because we had one who graduated who was not literate but could take questions by just vocal exams and pass out. And then we have kids who are passionate. When the world is moving and the world is really making a big deal about younger, geniuses, I think we are falling back on thinking like they need to have gray hair and they need to be so much old, so many years old.
Hey, you're picking on you and me too, because we're the gray hair guys.
Well, I got some gray hair, so I mean.
Yeah, keep the hat on. Cover up that gray.
Yeah, but I think that is the beauty of Joshua Nations, that I don't see any other program. I mean, there are great programs, many programs, but here we see that the local church is really getting equipped to raise generational leadership.
Yeah, we were discussing this recently, and as we were sharing the vision with some new friends at an event in Dallas, we were talking about this intergenerational focus. And I love targeting the younger generation. For years, I've traveled, and as I've been able to minister and train so many different leaders, some of the churches I go into, I see all these gray-haired or bald men, And I'm looking out there, and all I see is old men. I don't see any wives. I don't see any youth. I don't see any children.
Yep.
And it really struck me one time. It was a long time ago. I thought, this is a sad picture of our future, because if we're not equipping younger generations, even those in their 30s and 40s at the time who are being excluded,
Yeah.
what's the church going to look like in 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah.
And why is that the case? I know you're changing that, and I know Sri Lanka is pretty progressive in that. You have a lot of younger leaders, but I know you've seen it. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think one generation wants to hold control. And when we see the world, world is recruiting, corporates are recruiting younger people. I mean, everybody's wanting the younger, but the church is saying, we want the old only. I mean, we are not putting the old out. We want the wisdom of the old, but the strength of the young, because that will only help us to build a stronger church that will be able to actually fulfill the Great Commission.
Why do you think the older people are wanting the control, or not ready to release control?
I believe sometimes we have different perspectives we are thinking that only we can do this and we know what is right. These guys are crazy. They will do something crazy. I think that is working at the back of the mind. And sometimes positionally they have had these titles, and that is the identity is tied up with the title, I believe. And it's a hard thing. These are hard questions. I mean, these are hard questions that, while we talk about this, I believe we also have to keep talking to ourselves.
Well, I've heard you called bishop, doctor, apostle, pastor. So, we get hung up on titles. I mean, what's the point of these titles, and what has it done to the church?
Yeah, the thing about it is, I believe that we are getting hung up on the title, but we don't understand the Bible is not giving titles but a function. Yeah. And if we function without the title, even though you call it a title or not, but if you actually properly function in it, that's when we are able to equip the saints to do the work of the ministry.
Have you ever received a business card from someone that has all of these titles on them?
Oh man, His Excellency. What? It starts with His Excellency.
I can't even imagine.
This is in Sri Lanka. These are real stuff. His Excellency.
My favorite.
And then goes on to say,
my favorite one I got was in Rwanda, and it said CEA and then the guy's name. And so I'm looking at this, and we're way out in the bush. There's no electricity and no running water.
Yeah.
And he presents me this business card, and I was like, "What is CEA?" He's like, "Oh, it's Chief Executive Apostle." I was like,
"Oh my God."
What do you do with this? The world's so hung up on titles. Is it a pride thing?
Yeah, I think so, because Asian culture, and adding to what you were asking earlier and tying up to this, I think Asian culture had always looked at the older men, older women, older mature, or rather I can't even use women here because it was all like a masculine driven society. Yeah. And that is what we are actually changing through Joshua Nations by having women of valor, having a rise youth. We are looking at in every angle how we can mature the church so that it can become the bride God wants it to be.
Yeah. Wow. And now you mentioned women of valor, and you have a wife, I would say, is a woman of valor.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about her.
Well, Kayla is my wife. We've been married for 17 plus years. We got 3 beautiful kids.
She's tolerated you this long.
Oh, she needs, or rather she has to get, she has to get an award for it. But she has a passion too for liberating women and seeing women rise to their full potential and calling. And that's been a cry that she has been carrying, because she lost her mother when she was 13 for cancer. Father left the house. She was orphan. She lived in an orphanage. She understands that. And now also she's a board at an orphanage as well, helping young girls to reach their destiny. I
didn't know all that about her.
Okay, and last year, together with Joshua Nations, we've reached about 1,000 women in Sri Lanka, speaking to women and women's events. We've been able to empower them, especially pastors' wives, to really step into their calling.
But even beyond Sri Lanka, she went and traveled to India and met up with Anna.
Yes. And that was a great opportunity and inspiration for her. She had never done it. traveled alone like that. It was her first, but she loved it, and I think she got so inspired.
I think she blended in a little bit better than my wife.
Well, she brings the spirit in there, of course, yeah. So yes, was thankful for it, thankful for Anna and that impression, that inspiration, more than the impression. Of course, the inspiration is bringing impression for especially Asian culture. We have continually undermined women in leadership. That mindset's to change.
Is it changing?
I think so, and I believe so, and I think in the last several years we are seeing more women leaders rise up, and more men coming to terms with understanding that there is a call, and another generation coming. Maybe the earlier generation is having it real struggle, but a new generation is arising that sees things differently. That the kingdom of God is just not a man thing; it's a collective thing.
It's a collective thing. It's the whole family.
Yes.
And one thing I want to point out was Michaela traveled to India, and one of the things that we see, and I believe that Joshua Nations is doing quite well. It's happening in Asia. We're doing the same thing in Africa as well. Also a little bit in Latin America. Our key leaders, they're traveling across borders.
Yes.
I think the church's best day is when leaders start owning the Great Commission, not only for their own people, their own city, their nation, but also that the church globally owns it, and it's no longer just a Western thing.
Yeah.
Because you communicating in Asia is going to be more effective than me.
Yes.
And so how do we do that? How do we equip the church? What are we missing from this side, perhaps, that has maybe immobilized the global church from moving across borders?
I think it is to do also with opportunity, and I'm so glad that today we can have this conversation here, other side of the world. And I'm so thankful for our friendship and the opportunity of Joshua Nations. I won't be able to sit here and share this conversation with you, but this is what Joshua Nation is about. And not only Joshua Nations, I believe that is we are making a prototype of understanding how kingdom should function by opening doors, giving opportunities, and understanding that there is values in all over. Somebody asked me, hey, in Sri Lanka, this is Western religion. I said, Jesus is not Western. He was an Eastern man. Yeah. So getting this idea about, that it is a hung up of Western, they need to come. No, I think we have to work together. It is not either us or you, we or you. No, it is together, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah, Joshua Nations, our team is, I think more than half of our team is not American. We just had a collective staff meeting. And I was looking at not only those who are here visiting us in Colorado this week, but also those online. And you're all brown people from somewhere else, whether it's south or across from the other side. We have Brazilian, we have Cuban, we have Indian, Sri Lankan, we have Pakistan. And one of our brothers from Africa. He wasn't on there today, but I mean, it's multicultural and super diverse, which has its challenges at times.
Of course.
But I think the thing is, if we learn that we can do this together to collaborate, that it helps really bring this idea that the whole church is responsible.
Yes.
I think for a long time, the world has looked to the West, whether it's Europe or the U.S., the white people to come and to be the answer for missions.
Yes.
But we're not. I feel like we all have a special role, and our role is unique. But if we step beyond that, I think we're stepping out of God's grace.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
Well,
I put you on the spot. We're recording. Have you ever stepped out of God's grace by doing something you shouldn't?
Yeah, I think at times because we are so passionate people to accomplish something, and then you go out of your way to do something that then finally find out you are not. I remember a few years ago, about 10 years ago, remembering that I really was passionate to open a church. So we started doing some work in Kandy, because I am from the central part, even though right now I reside in the west area, Colombo, which is the commercial capital and political capital of Sri Lanka. I remember I had this, desire to see something happen. So I went and started the church, but 2-3 months, I don't know whether it was even 6 months, it didn't go out because I stepped out of the grace at that season. But we have just launched a church 1 year, 6 months ago, and we see what God is doing. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, then I did something that I should not at that moment.
So was it something that you should not have done, or was it all about the timing? Was God already speaking to you, but the timing was wrong?
Yes. So I think that is what it is. Yeah. It's sometimes we are so passionate to do something that we take it out of context because we just depend on ourselves, our abilities. And I think what we are learning here is how to be humble, and humility, that we are so humble enough to hear the voice of God and to receive it as it is.
I remember I was 17 years old, and a minister who has a big reputation prophesied over me about what my future would look like. And I remember being impatient.
Yes.
First of all, I was like, I don't see how this is going to happen. And then when I saw that maybe it would happen, little pieces here and there. Yeah. And then I was so impatient. I wanted this and that. Yeah. And still today, not all of it's been fulfilled. Much of it, but not all of it. Yeah. But I realize if I try to go beyond God's timing, then I'll be met with, disappointment or failure.
And heartbreak.
Of course. Because then you start questioning, like, God, where were you? You told me this. We had this conversation. I was out prayer walking, and there's a trail outside, just outside these windows. I like to go walk and run and pray and talk with God, and He talks back. Amazing, right? Yeah. And He'll say things, and sometimes I'm like, well, when? And He just, not now. Yeah. Like, well, when? Not now. I'm like, oh man. But being patient is so critical. So now we're seeing incredible success in Sri Lanka. Yes. I remember my father had been invited to Sri Lanka in the 90s, and he tried several times to go, but there was war. Yes. And so it was met with cancellation and disappointment. I think he finally made it once. I don't recall. My wife is shaking her head no.
No, I don't think he could.
So he never actually made it over. He remained in India for his trips. But here, next generation, I've been able to go several times and going back soon. Yes. And God's doing incredible things. I think that was birthed in the heart of my own father and others. Yep. I won't say that my father birthed this vision, but it's God's vision. Yep. And we just had the opportunity to steward that now.
And that is amazing to see that. And I've heard it several times. Several people saying, hey, your dad was going to come. Your dad was going to come. You're finally here. Yeah. And at times it is like Abraham. God spoke to him and said, look at the stars, and all the stars are there. And then he's thinking, a lot of children, but only one. Right. It takes time and it takes generations, but something happens. And I believe that the last 3 years has been phenomenal 3 years since we started.
So how many BTCs do we have now?
We have about 48. Okay. It will be passing for over 48 and over 50 soon. Yeah. But we have about 55 churches involved in these centers. It's all across the island. And close to 600
You shared something with me not too long ago, because part of our push, we don't plant churches, but we want to train people who take on the ownership and say, I will go plant a church to this unreached people, this village. And you said, you gave me a response, then I challenged it. I'll see if you remember the conversation. You said, for every BTC, we're going to plant one church.
Yes. And we have taken that challenge. And what we have done is we are encouraging all of our second year students, either collectively or individually, they need to start a house church. So their completion that is going to be awarded, is on the assignment of not a written paper, actually doing the work.
Now, I went further because I'm a little bit ambitious. I said, Mitch, how many students are at each BTC? What's your estimate? Are there like 10, 20 students at each one?
Yeah, average 15 at least.
Okay, so 15 students. And out of 15, only one church? I said, how about if we say for each BTC, we want, say, 20% of the graduates
Yes.
to be really challenged to go plant a new church.
Yes.
So then we increase that potential output.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I've learned in leadership, that people will rise to the level of expectation
Yes.
and your level of measurement.
Yes.
If we say, we think and we believe, because we've seen it all around the world,
Yeah.
that 20% of our graduates can go plant a church or start a new ministry.
Yes.
And that's actually pretty low, because there's some of our trainings we've seen 60, 70%.
Yes.
And I know y'all are doing it right. And I've seen the fruit. I've met the leaders. And what if 20% of them start something new? Even a house church.
That's our challenge. And that's the challenge we have taken.
It can be done.
Yeah, it can be done.
Then I think that percent of Christians will rise beyond 1 and 2.
Yes.
And then there's 50 or so people groups that are considered totally unreached.
Yes.
But what if we adopt each one of those?
And
We don't have to do it all at once.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
And I think that is something that we can do, and some things that we have been talking with not only just the Joshua nations, the BTCs, but we've been asking, going beyond that and saying, hey, we will do a part of it. What about you doing your part? Mm-hmm. And if we all collaborate, this work can be done. And this can be that movement that Sri Lanka needs for us to see, because Sri Lanka has never seen a full-blown revival. And the revival is, some people think the revival is falling over, having, I mean, that is good. Oh my God, I'm getting it. But actual revival is, we are plundering hell, populating heaven.
I like that.
And we got to get on that.
Yeah.
Rather than having just a goosebump moment, and we are so happy about it. And we are all for it, please. But we want a nation transformed.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at.
Well, the transformation really is the key. But I mean, you can't have revival if you don't have some establishment of church, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just salvation.
Yes.
So a lot of times when I think of revival, it's like to resuscitate something that had been falling over, had become dead.
Yeah.
But in some of these places, there's never been.
Yeah.
Never been church, never been presence of true Christians.
Nothing.
Maybe some who were bought through colonialism, but nothing that was like true transformation that took place and took root. So I think we need both. We need revival in the churches.
Yeah.
I think we need ownership from the churches and the believers to say, yes, we can do this. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Sri Lanka is the size of India or something bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It's manageable. You can travel across the nation pretty easily.
And we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think when we look back and see, why haven't we done it? That's the question. Because this last weekend, we had 24 people, 23 or 24 people, youngest being the ages 12, the oldest being 55, went to the streets. We shared what Easter is about. For 3 days, we gave out flyers and we had conversation with over 1,000 people.
Wow.
So when we look at that, and with 1,000 people in 3 days, just imagine every church thinks like this.
Well, one thing for those of you who are here in the West, that was something that we did 30, 40, 50 years ago. Yeah. And today doesn't work as well, but in Sri Lanka and other nations like that, this is huge.
Yes.
Because many of these people have never heard of Jesus. They've never had a gospel conversation. They've never been invited to a church. They've never met a true born-again believer. And so their eyes are opened. And then I'll tell you, because I've seen it, they become very curious. Almost every church I've been in Sri Lanka, there's people coming just to check it out.
Yeah.
Their curiosity has overwhelmed them.
Because hopelessness. I mean, think about it. 30-year-old war, a tsunami that took off over 55,000 people. And then we had in 2019 the Easter bombing. So that when we went to the streets, when we asked them, what do you know about Easter? They know only the bombings, but they don't know what is the story of Easter. That's why we were able to share it. And then we had bankruptcy. We had 160% inflation. We currently have 63% of people who are going to bed with only one meal. Hopelessness. We have hope.
There's only one God of hope.
Yes, and that's Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a conversation I've had so many times in Asia because their gods are dead.
Yep.
They're a painting on a wall, they're a statue, a carved image. There is no life. And whatever it is that they think they're worshiping is definitely not life-giving.
Yep.
It's life-demanding. They demand.
Yeah.
Jesus gives us hope.
Jesus gives us hope, and it's hopeless.
Yeah.
And when they come, one of the first things, this weekend we had over 32 people. 32 people who have never, and out of that, 80% of them have never walked into a church.
Wow.
And guess what? We don't have a church building. We are meeting at a hotel, so it becomes so more welcoming. People, guests who are having breakfast joined in for the service and saying, hey, what is happening? So what I'm trying to tell you is people are searching for hope all over the world. And when you just look at news, that's enough for you to feel hopeless.
You know, a lot of us, even here in the U.S., as you're hearing this, perhaps, or wherever you're listening from, you know, we complain about our gas prices, our inflation, our economy, our government, or whatever you want to complain about. But what you're describing is much different. And even no matter where you are, if you're feeling hopeless, Jesus is the answer. Yeah. He can give you hope.
Yes. And one of the questions, again, that I asked is, how many of you feel peace after the worship? As soon as I got in, I said, how many of you feel a different kinds of peace? And all these hands go up. Why? Because Prince of Peace is only Jesus.
Yes.
And in His presence, they all feel peace.
So true. I'm excited. It's going to do some awesome stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are ready.
Yeah, we're ready. All right. Well, thank you so much. And appreciate all your prayers and support.